It's time for business, and Sandra Fenu has joined me in the studio. Hello, Sandra.
Hi, Ezra. Good evening.
All right, so we're talking about cocoa beans, the collaboration between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. It appears it may just work, yeah.
Yes, they're pushing for the best for cocoa farmers and the economy as well.
Right.
So they are taking some bold steps to rectify things on the international market.
Okay, you take it away.
All right, good evening. My name is Sandra Esinam Apeno, and I'm here for business. Ghana and Ivory Coast are proposing a suspension of the sale of cocoa beans to the global market for the 2020-2021 crop season until further notice. This is because there are indicators that global buyers of cocoa beans are not keen on adopting floor price for the commodity. Sources at the Cocoa Board say the proposed suspension by the world top 2 cocoa growers is aimed at putting pressure on stakeholders.
Say a floor price, it means below that price it will be difficult for Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire to sell cocoa, and that is what we want to, communicate to the buyers and then the, the traders, the processors, and the manufacturers, to tell them that once we arrive at a certain floor price, which will be remunerative enough for our cocoa farmers, we are going to stick to that. Below that, we are not going to sell cocoa. And we've actually, our technical people, both Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, have worked out what, will go into that living income. That is a very remunerative price, which we believe once, they agree, farmers will be happy about.
If there remain a stalemate?
Well, we have a plan B, which we will not talk about now. Because, this matter has been lingering for many years. And now that we are engaging, and it's the first time, this is unprecedented. It's the first time that 2 leading producing countries, that's Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, have actually, invited such high-level stakeholders to meet over price.
Meanwhile, an economist with data bank Courage Boti has described the move as a step in the right direction. He told Joy Business the decision will impact positively in the long term, not to only farmers, but also the economy as a whole.
Inflation has been consistent, currency depreciation has been consistent, and the pockets of these farmers always take a hit from some of these developments. Yeah, so price cannot increase on the market because how much government earns is what they also transmit, or a portion of it is what they transmit to the farmers. And then so if prices are not increasing, logically, you can't increase the farm gate prices also. And the argument have been that, and IMF even supports this to a large extent, that Ghana should have been reducing cocoa prices at the farm gate, given the prevailing market prices. Now, so an effort by Ivory Coast, Ghana, who supply nearly 65% of the world cocoa bean, to try to find their own way of propping up prices to the benefit of their farmers and their individual economies is what is leading to this kind of suggestion that we're seeing now. What they are trying to do is akin to what OPEC does, control the amount of supply on the market, because essentially the price distortions we're seeing, or the price tumbling on the market, is as a result of oversupply. Yes. Cocoa beans have been oversupplied on the market. Confectionery demand is going up all the same, but then the market is still oversupplied. So a way of restricting that supply on the market to some level, to proper prices to the level you desire. I think what they're looking towards doing now is having a certain minimum level price notional that they have in their mind, beyond which they will not supply to the market. So maybe if the price is just around that or below that, they reduce how much they put on the market significantly.
All these stemmed out of a 2-day stakeholder engagement on farmers' income in Accra. At that meeting, Vice President Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia has warned of troubling times ahead for the cocoa sector if farmers continue to receive low incomes for their yields. Ghana and Ivory Coast have jointly agreed on a fixed minimum price to sell their cocoa beans to over 300 representatives of cocoa buyers and processors worldwide.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia painted a gloomy picture for the economies of Ghana and Ivory Coast should income levels of cocoa farmers not be increased.
So far, the evidence is that the wealth distribution is uneven along the supply chain. Poverty levels among cocoa farmers, who are at the root of both the supply and value chain, continues to raise concerns. The irony here is that the primary risk takers are also the helpless price takers.
Some data have indicated that cocoa farmers in both economies earn just 3% of the global $100 billion revenue from cocoa consumption and marketing. Director General of the Conseil du Café Cacao, CCC, Connie Brahima Yves, has been detailing to Joy Business the prospect of this most important engagement on floor prices. He spoke through a translator.
And we will show them and present to them the price, the floor price that is for us, that will be acceptable for our producer for both countries.
The fixed minimum price, to be known as floor price, is to address the income disparity in the cocoa value chain, as well as derive more value from growing the chocolate ingredient. This hopes to help farmers who are the backbone of the cocoa industry to generate reasonable income levels.
To other stories now, the strategy document on government's much-touted Ghana Beyond Aid agenda is currently at a consultative stage, addressing some development partners in Accra. The senior minister, Yao Safumafo, said the documents will be sent to Parliament for approval once inputs are made from stakeholders.
Recently, the president unveiled the charter and a strategy document to guide the nation towards attaining the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. He said the essence was to create a nation that would be self-sufficient. According to the chairman of the committee, Yao Osafo-Mafo, the document is currently under review by relevant stakeholders, after which it will be presented to Parliament for approval.
We are adding and subtracting from it as we talk to certain key stakeholders in the whole system. We, of course, first have to give the first draft to Cabinet, and we got the input. Our second was to meet the Council of State, which is a constitutional body established to advise the presidency, and they are also responsible for winnowing all kinds of appointments of the president that we have done. After today, we are going to meet the National House of Chiefs, those who represent the traditional system of our dear country. After that, we devote one such meeting to the press and discuss in detail with both national and international press what it is.
Meanwhile, the German ambassador, Christoph Retzlaff, whose outfit is one of the development partners, highlighted the relevance of the initiative to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals.
In achieving and implementing the SDGs, so one of the basic necessities in implementing this Ghana Beyond Aid strategy will certainly be how you reconcile your ambitious economic transformation, the focus on investment and jobs, with implementing the SDGs, especially with regard to challenges in regional discrepancies here.
The Ghana Beyond Aid agenda has a target date of 2028 for full implementation. Bismarck Ausa, Joy Business.
The Meridian Port Services Limited is demanding 11% increase in handling charges at the Tema Port, and this is not going down well with some businesses at the port. I have details plus other local stories coming up in our summaries.
Governments, through the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, has invited persons interested in participating in the community mining program to register with their respective metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies for concession. It announced that deadline for registration was June 21, 2019. The number of names submitted will determine the number of concessions that would be allotted to the MMDAs for the community mining program. Demands for tariff increments by the Meridian Port Services MPS from the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority are heightening tension over the operationalization of the new terminal facility come June 28, 2019. According to Graphic.com, the MPS, which per concessionaire contract signed in 2015, is expected to take over the operations of the Tema Port, is asking the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to adjust container handling charges by 11%. 4G mobile broadband service provider Busy Internet has appointed Wazifin as its new CEO effective June 10, 2019. As CEO, Rosie will be leading the turnaround of the business into a world-class telecom service provider which provides cutting-edge internet solutions across the country.
The proposed suspension of the sale of cocoa beans to the international market, what are the likely impacts for Ghana's economy? When I return after 8 p.m., we'll be having that conversation.